All right, folks. So, biggest news out of yesterday. I was charged for my Switch 2. It's not something you'll love to see, $550 hitting the credit card, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Unfortunately for me, however, yes, getting charged $550 was not the worst thing to happen yesterday. The Knicks did lose, unfortunately, and so the season has now come to an end, and quite frankly, this game 6 here was really an amalgamation. I think that's the word. It means like combination, I believe, at least. This game was pretty much just a combination of everything that was wrong for the Knicks throughout not just the playoffs, but the season, really, okay? I feel like we lost for, I think, 3 reasons, okay? The first was Karl Anthony Towns on defense was not good. Let's leave it at that. In transition, the Knicks were not good at defense, okay? So maybe we'll wrap that up in one term, okay? Defensive preparation. All right. Finally, or I guess secondly, the Knicks offense is just, it's too reliant on isolation, okay? It's not enough movement. It's not enough passing. It takes you like 16 seconds to get the ball up the floor. Not 16 seconds. It takes you 8 seconds, and then it leaves you with 16 to get to work. And finally, thirdly, the head coach for the New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, is just, he does not try enough, okay? And so, when you don't try things in the regular season, and you find yourself down 2-0 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then you decide to finally change up the starting lineup, obviously it's going to take some growing pains, okay? And it's just fairly obvious that for a team with, the greatest shooting big man ever, okay, you should be able to run 5 out. And the easiest way to do that for the Knicks is Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Karl Anthony Towns. That lineup, I saw on Twitter, it played about 80-something possessions together the entire season. And it's just, like, what are you doing? Literally, in 2K, there's an option. Put the 3-point lineup out there. We didn't do it. Like we did do it a single time. We did it 83 possessions worth, I guess. So, or at least around that number. So, additionally, once you did make the change, you didn't practice it. So, what the Pacers did was they just made you, try and actually use that new defensive lineup for 24 seconds. And as we saw last night, they couldn't do it. They miscommunicated. They dropped when they should have been up. They struggled on switches. They tried, okay? It's not for a lack of effort. It's because they don't have experience playing together. They don't have practice. They have no reps together. Like, it's just, you didn't try it enough. And look, I understand that Mitch was injured, okay? So some people might be like, hey, look, this lineup couldn't get work together because Mitch didn't come back until like February, and then from that point on, the 3 seed was pretty much locked up. So guys were in and out of the lineup for rest. But you have a guy like Ariel Hukporti, okay, and I'm not saying he's good as Mitch, but he can play the Mitch role, okay, and so you can see, hey, do we have a proof of concept here? Is this lineup good? Is this lineup better than our starters? But no, you never did it. So I don't know. It was a up and down season. It was kind of interesting that a team that was so frustrating and kind of, inspired so many bouts of, hey, I hate basketball. It's funny that this is the team that gets closest to the NBA Finals since 2000, okay? Not like last year's team, which every single night they were throwing everything on the line, or that return team in 2021. I don't remember that team. All right, that team that somehow, some way they managed to find a way to win games. Like, no, it was this one, okay, the one that got blitzed by every contender in the regular season. So I don't know. All in all, it definitely is a year where you reached your expectations and you surpassed them. Okay, you reached your expectations from preseason. However, as the season went on, they obviously dropped, and you reached past those initial expectations. Okay, so if you told me, in the preseason that, hey, the Knicks are going to lose in 6 games in the conference finals, of course I would have been like, yeah, I'll sign up for that. But then once you see how it happened, it's kind of like, it's not the best. Okay, so all things considered, I guess good year. Now I actually have to come up with stuff to talk about, though. That's kind of frustrating. It's like, before this, I could have just been like, oh, the Knicks played. Let me talk about the Knicks game. But now it's, oh, wait, we're not playing for another 4 months. I don't really have anything to talk about now. So I got to come up with actual topics, unfortunately. So that should be interesting. NBA Finals, am I going to watch that? I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to sound like the salty fan here, but the Thunder are really going to SGA start working on the Finals MVP speech because, oh my goodness, let's just say the ratings are not something I care about. I care more about the quality of the game, and the quality of the game is, well, I'm not going to act like we would have put up a better fight, but the Thunder start getting the parade routes ready, okay? So, all in all, good season. If you watched anything, thank you. Means a lot. I'm sure I'll come up with something to talk about in the off season, and the grind never stops. So, yeah.